A possible grenade found in a Cary backyard, where investigators think it came from. Then, could you pass a U.S. citizenship test? Why some parents want to require your teens to take it to graduate high school.
It's feeling like summer, and it's only getting warmer from here when we start to sizzle before the big heat backs off.
And the new major milestone for online gambling in North Carolina.
Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Right now at 7 o'clock, the military is trying to figure out where to safely dispose of what may be a grenade found in a backyard in Cary. Thank you for joining us. I'm Gerald Owens.
And I'm Ashley Rowe. Several agencies, including a bomb squad and Fort Liberty teams, responded to the scene on King Fork Road after a homeowner doing yard work made the discovery. WRAL's Willie Danley has been there for hours and joins us now live. The mystery here, Willie, is how it got there.
Yes, Ashley. The house in question is this home right behind me. The owner of this house was in his backyard doing some ordinary landscaping when he came across what police are calling a possible grenade. Take a look at this video that was taken here on the ground, and you can see that explosive team from Fort Liberty arriving to handle this situation. They were able to safely remove that possible grenade from the ground. Once they got it into the truck without incident, they conducted a sweep of the backyard to make sure there weren't any more surprises back there. According to Cary police, that possible grenade was property of a previous homeowner who was a retired military veteran. As of right now, they aren't sure the specifics of that possible grenade, but we're working to get those answers. Now that the crew has safely removed that weapon from this backyard, they're working on where to dispose of it. So Cary police and the Fort Liberty military crew are working together to find a local location to get rid of it. We're going to continue to follow this story and keep you updated with any more developments that we hear. In Cary, Willie Danley, WRAL News.
Police are also investigating after someone shot at a home near the Village District in Raleigh. This is Sky 5 over the scene on Mayview Road this afternoon. That's where a home and parked vehicle were hit. You can see a bullet hole lodged into a car on the street. Officers have not said whether this was targeted or random. Police say no one was hurt. So far, no arrests have been made or charges filed.
Here's a live look at Pinehurst tonight. Golfers out there on the putting green practicing for the U.S. Open. Fans will have to brave some very warm temperatures at the Open over the next few days, as well as the players. Meteorologist Kat Campbell's on the weather patio. And Kat, this is expected to be the hottest U.S. Open we've ever had in North Carolina.
That is correct, Gerald. Previous hottest 90 degrees, which actually really isn't that bad for June. We're forecasting 91 tomorrow, 95 on Friday, and 91 Saturday and Sunday. I did want to point out we added a 20% chance of rain in the forecast Friday evening and Friday night. The rest of the forecast completely dry over the next 7 days. For tomorrow's U.S. Open forecast, hour by hour, it starts early. Temperatures are going to be in the upper 60s around 6:30, 7 o'clock. As we get toward 10 a.m., we're about 80 degrees. Lunchtime, 88, near 90 tomorrow afternoon. And as we head toward 6 o'clock, still in the upper 80s outside. Pinehurst looking good out there this evening. It's very comfortable out here on the WRAL weather patio. 85 there right now. I'll have a closer look at the humidity levels for the weekend coming up.
I'll be out at Pinehurst tomorrow, and I will be prepared, Kat. We'll see you in a little bit. Thanks. The USGA is prepared to make sure fans can beat the heat when the temperatures rise. More than 200,000 people will walk the grounds over the next few days. Water bottle filling stations are all over the grounds. They're set up across Pinehurst number 2 and the adjacent property there. They'll also have medic tents around the course, and there are more than 100 EMTs stationed in different positions. The goal here, obviously, to make sure that everyone stays hydrated, and no matter how hot it gets, fans stay safe.
Conservative group Moms for Liberty wants students to pass the U.S. citizenship test before they can graduate from high school. They asked North Carolina lawmakers to make that change today. WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie shows you why they think it's needed.
Here's a pop quiz for you. Who was the president of the U.S. during World War I? That is one of the questions on the U.S. citizenship test. And conservative group Moms for Liberty says if you can't pass that test, you shouldn't be able to graduate from high school in North Carolina. The group has the ear of Republican leaders. Moms for Liberty organizer Brooke Weiss says North Carolina students don't get enough civics education to be informed citizens. Her group wants to make it a requirement for graduation.
We would like for students to have to pass the same citizenship same citizenship test that immigrants take before they're allowed to become citizens.
The group also wants to ban from the classroom any topic they consider adult or divisive, from diversity and equity to systemic racism and any mention of LGBTQ people.
People don't even know what it means to be an American anymore. We're trying to find, rather than focusing on the diversity, we want to focus on what makes us all Americans, how we unite each other.
Moms for Liberty started during the pandemic when they protested against mask requirements at school board meetings. They've pledged to increase their influence in state politics this year. They wield the most influence in right-wing conservative circles. Republican gubernatorial candidate Mark Robinson has echoed many of their demands on the campaign trail and at their event today.
The school system does not own our children. The government does not own our children. Children are of their mother and of their fathers. And if anybody knows anything about history, you know this. Don't make the moms mad.
By the way, the answer was Woodrow Wilson. Laura Leslie, WRAL News, Raleigh.
Today, parents from across the state urged North Carolina lawmakers to fund child care with federal support for affordable child care expiring this month. We watched as parent and child advocates spoke in front of the legislative building, asking lawmakers to fill a $300 million gap. Democratic lawmakers say the state has the money to fund the gap, which begins July 1st. The group is calling on the Republican leadership to dip into the state's $1 billion surplus to help fund child care. One child care provider told us when the federal funding ends, she'll have to charge her parents an extra $50 a month just to pay her employees at the same rate.
The State Bureau of Investigations has identified the man a Johnston County deputy shot and killed earlier this week. The Bureau says the deputy Jonathan Lee shot Jose Luis Rincon Lopez. This happened outside UNC Health Johnston in Clayton. The sheriff says the deputy was leaving the hospital in his patrol car when the man approached and tried to grab the gun. The two struggled and the deputy fired shots.
Durham police need your help to identify the driver of this car. They say it's connected to a shooting on Fayetteville Street that injured a 3-year-old and a man. Officers released this picture of what appears to be a 2009 to 2010 Toyota Corolla. They say the driver or passenger may have fired shots into another vehicle with the man and child inside. The man is expected to survive. However, the child has life-threatening injuries. If you have any information, call police.
People in Durham are leaving thousands of dollars on the table as crimes go unsolved and tip rewards go unclaimed. WRAL's investigative data journalist Ali Ingersoll is looking into local police clearance rates and how the community can help it improve.
Brandon Parrott has been the Durham Crime Stoppers coordinator for 12 years.
For a few minutes, you're the only one that you and the tipster, I guess, are the only ones that know. And so it's exciting.
Parrott says they receive thousands of tips annually for crimes varying from burglaries to homicides.
For every crime, there's a victim. And being a victim is a traumatic experience. And those victims need closure.
Still, for hundreds of people in Durham and Raleigh, they don't get that closure, as many crimes go unsolved. According to FBI crime data, in 2012, Durham police solved 50% of all violent crime. By 2022, it had dropped to 27%. Raleigh police solved 56% of violent crime in 2012, but it dropped to just 19% by 2022. For both cities, the clearance rate for property crimes is even lower. Parrott says people in the community often know information, but they don't want to speak up.
The person who's providing information doesn't want repercussions on them. They don't want to be threatened or harassed or targeted.
Another issue, those who do provide tips anonymously don't claim the reward. So far this year, Durham residents have left up to $20,000 on the table, unclaimed, for helping police solve crime in the community. For WRAL News, Ali Ingersoll, Durham.
And the County Crime Stoppers have new technology that lets people submit tips online anonymously as well. North Carolina lawmakers are one step closer to banning what some call gas station heroin. Today, in a unanimous vote, House lawmakers approved a ban on tianeptine. That's the main ingredient in products widely available at convenience stores and smoke shops across the state, marketed as dietary supplements or mood enhancers. It's unregulated, which means even children can buy it. Now the state Senate has to approve the plan. The vote could happen as soon as next week.
The booking agent for the Bimbay Festival in Durham will have to return tens of thousands of dollars to the city after the scheduled act, Monica, didn't show up. WRAL obtained public records of the emails between the city and the agent and the Cash App payments. Christopher Weeks signed a legal agreement confirming he owes the city $37,000. A payment plan to get that money back is in place. Durham police tell us they have an open case with this and they're looking into it.
There seems to be no end to the mobile gaming boom in North Carolina. Digital Instants, which really play a bit like slot machines on your phone or computer, they've hit $1 billion in sales since launching in November. That's on top of the $1.5 billion on sports betting apps since mid-March. Digital Instants already account for about 20% of all NC Lottery sales.
This past weekend, we actually crossed a pretty significant milestone. We have over $1 billion in bets, making us the fastest lottery to ever achieve that mark of those that have launched Digital Instants to date.
The lottery set records for sales and distribution to education last year. With 1 month left in fiscal year, it's on pace to break those records this year. You can read much more on this story and how mobile gaming has taken off in our state on WRAL.com.
Still ahead, they were extra loud this year. So loud, some people called 911 over the noises cicadas are making. That round is nearly gone, but they're making a comeback in our area. We'll tell you when you could see cicadas popping up in your neighborhood. Plus, Pinehurst is a place unlike any other in the world, and now it's even more unique as the permanent keeper of some of golf's most iconic and historic moments. We'll take you inside the World Golf Hall of Fame next.
Good evening, I'm Brian Schrader in the WRAL Live Center. Catastrophic flash flooding is happening right now in South Florida. We are following this developing story as we take a look at live pictures from the Miami area. Some areas have already seen a foot of rain today, and you can see where people are trying to drive through those flooded streets there. Not a good idea. Several more inches of rain expected through the evening. Here's some video we just got into the Live Center from Broward County, Florida. A lot of people getting stuck in that water and had to be towed out. I want to take you to the RDU flight information because already more than 1,000 flights in Miami and Fort Lauderdale have either been canceled or delayed, and already some airlines are canceling flights from Raleigh to that area for tomorrow morning. So if you have travel plans, be sure to check with your airline.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brian. Taking a live look now at Pinehurst, where no rain in sight here. The U.S. Open officially teeing off in less than 12 hours, and that means all eyes on some local golfers who will be on the green first thing in the morning. WR's
Chris Lee was in Pinehurst today for the final practice rounds. And as fans get ready for the tournament, there's a new place where they can relive some of golf's greatest moments.
This week at the U.S. Open, history will be written. Majors feature moments like Payne Stewart's iconic win back in 1999. And as Pat Welter explains, there's now a permanent place for those memories here in Pinehurst.
So let's go over to the first locker bay here, and this is the great golf boom.
You can't appreciate the present.
Really cool to look and see how much the game of golf has changed
without understanding the past.
Clubs from going as far back as the 1700s.
At the USGA Experience and World Golf Hall of Fame, the history is all around you.
Open Arnie's locker, and of course you see the iconic umbrella logo.
After a stay in St. Augustine, Florida, the Hall of Fame is back in Pinehurst in time for the U.S. Open.
I think the biggest message for people who are coming here for the U.S. Open is that we're open and we're free.
Mike Trostel is the director of the World Golf Hall of Fame and is thrilled for golf fans to check out the new exhibits.
A couple lockers I want to show you here.
The lockers are the main attraction, which feature about 3,000 artifacts from the greatest names in the beautiful game.
You can see some of the materials that Ross may have used, some of his tools, his supplies.
From Pinehurst #2 architect Donald Ross.
Certainly a figure near and dear to everyone down here in North Carolina in Pinehurst.
To Payne Stewart and his iconic 1999 U.S. Open win.
Payne was certainly a character, not only on the course, but off the course as well.
The moments you know are nostalgic.
And one of our more recent inductees, the great Tiger Woods, class of 2022.
But it's the little things that really make the history come to life.
Nancy Lopez, a sash and a hat from her days in the Girl Scouts.
At the World Golf Hall of Fame, time stand still.
I think all these things help to tell the story of these amazing players.
Pat Welter, WRAL Sports.
Boy, how cool is it to see those old golf clubs they used to play with back in the day, and to see Payne Stewart's harmonica. Fun fact, he was in a band called Jake Trout and the Flounders. WRAL is your home for the U.S. Open at Pinehurst. Our coverage we have complete coverage on your phone, tablet, and television. Once the first round begins tomorrow, Jeff Hogan and I will lead our coverage live from Pinehurst. You can watch all the action from the first tee to the 18th green on WRAL. Tune in for second round action on Friday. Third round action will be Saturday, and of course the final round on Sunday.
We are expecting another surge in cicadas here in North Carolina. There were around 500,000 cicadas in the most recent round. You may have heard them. They were really quite loud in some communities, louder than in others. Now experts say that brood is now at the end of its adult life. Most have stopped singing and they're dying off. Once they're gone, though, North Carolina will see its annual cicada swarm return later this month to August. They'll be green this time. Let's look now live at Oak Island, the first town in the state to roll out a new system designed to keep beachgoers safe in the water. New signs are set up around the island, displaying the current beach warning condition. The automated information is straight from the National Weather Service, reflecting red, yellow, and green depending on the rip currents and waves. Oak Island signs are the first to feature a purple light to indicate the risk of stinging marine life like jellyfish or man-o-war.
Wow, that doesn't sound pleasant at all. Meteorologist Kat Campbell's down on the weather patio. Kat, a lot of people will be at the beach this weekend.
A lot of people will be at the beach this weekend, and we do want to remind folks there could be an increased risk of rip currents over the weekend because of that system that has a chance of developing off the coast. So please make sure you're paying attention to those signs and the flags flying out there. Outside today, it's beautiful here on the WRAL weather patio. Very comfortable and nice and shaded out here during the late afternoon and evening. Mid-80s right now. The dew point 61, so the humidity is tolerable, especially for June. It's not all that bad. Tomorrow and Friday, we're going to be kind of right between steamy and tolerable. Dew points should be in the mid-60s. As we get into the weekend, though, we could actually see the dew points dip a little bit. So it may actually be our third weekend in a row with a little bit of a drop in humidity just in time for the weekend. This weekend's drop is not going to be as drastic as the last two, though, so keep that in mind. Outside tomorrow, we're heating back up. 90s for highs here in the Triangle, 93 in Fayetteville, 89 for Roxborough and South Hill. And as we look ahead to Friday, we're going to be at 95 in Pinehurst, 96 in Fayetteville, 95 here in the Triangle, and 93 in Rocky Mount. It'll be a sizzling hot week. We have one opportunity for rain. It's a 20% chance Friday night. That's it. So here's the area that we're watching. Low pressure could develop. It could take on some tropical characteristics. I expect that the chance of that developing will go up tonight, so check in with meteorologist Mike Mays at 10 and 11 p.m. for your tropical update. It should be offshore, about 200 miles offshore Friday morning. Whether or not it does develop into a tropical system still could bring rough surf and rip current risks Friday into Saturday. For us, though, we've got this front. It's a very weak system that's going to swing through. That front could spark just a few isolated showers and storms by Friday evening, so we're going to keep an eye on that potential. As of right now, the chance of development for that system offshore is 20%. There's another area to watch, a 30% chance of development in the southern Gulf of Mexico and Bay of Campeche. So we'll keep an eye on both of those for you. Your 7-day forecast, 90s each and every day. We are heating up. Only that 20% chance for rain Friday night. That is as good as we get. It's a pretty dry forecast for us and a hot one as well. We have some fluctuations in humidity, at least, Gerald.
My lawn is already begging for mercy, Kat. Thanks.
An exciting day for some swimmers from our area taking their shot at qualifying for the Summer Olympics. Their massive send-off to Indiana for trials next.
Local swimmers are preparing to board flights for the U.S. Olympic trials in Indiana this weekend.
This is what it looked like this morning during a send-off from the Triangle Aquatic Center. Dozens of supporters waved flags and offered well wishes as the swimmers walked through a balloon arc. That included Ashley Twitchell, David Curtis, and Grayson Nye. WRAL talked with each of them one-on-one after their send-off. They all say they appreciate the support.
And to see the support and people come out of their days on on a weekday to come out and support us in the morning. You know, it really shows how much support Cary and Raleigh has for TAC.
And when we're in Indianapolis, know there's people back home, you know, watching us and cheering for us and supporting us is really cool.
It only makes sense that they would get this big send-off at the TAC. Not only are they the training for the Olympic trials being held there, but Team USA will be training there ahead of the main event in Paris.
WRAL is your home for the 2024 Summer Olympics. The opening ceremony is July 26th. Won't be long before we get there. Our Liz McLaughlin will be in Paris. She'll have live coverage throughout the competition.
I think it just dawned on me that we are a little over 1 month away from the Olympics. That's wild.
We've been talking about it for a year.
True.
Hey, this is pretty cool. Something happened today over at the State Fairgrounds in Raleigh, the North Carolina Bus Rodeo.
30 bus drivers from around the state competed, including 7 from Wake County. They're tested on bus regulations, inspections, and of course driving maneuvers. The winner will represent North Carolina at the international competition in Texas later this month.
See yourself ever driving a bus like that?
No, not at all. I mean, I have all the respect in the world for those people who can drive them, and they bring so many smiles to kids' faces as well. They build such a good relationship with these kids. Yeah. But no, maneuvering that, no.
It's so important too. Precious cargo.
Can you? Do you think you'd be able to do it? Yeah?
I've driven a beer truck before when I was in college.
When you retire, maybe.
Yeah. Thank you for watching and making WRAL your choice for local news.
Our next newscast is at 10 on Fox 50 and 11 on WRAL. Have a great night as we leave you live with Pinehurst.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.